It was a very rough few days for the wrestling business last week, where in the same 24-hour period, not only did legendary ring announcer Howard Finkel pass away, but WWE suddenly announced mass releases across the company, with PW Insider reporting that 40% of their workforce was either let go or furloughed. WWE publicly announced some of these, but only listing those cut from the main roster like Rusev, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. For the numerous backstage staff, like writers and producers and NXT talent, no such official confirmation has been made of their statuses. Instead, we've had to go by their own statements on social media. One of those is NXT wrestler Dorian Mak, who now goes by his non-WWE ring name Dan Mather. He first signed with WWE in 2015, where he started wrestling at NXT and NXT UK live events beginning the year after, most recently forming that Outliers tag team with Riddick Moss before Riddick's main roster call-up. He was seemingly exactly what the main roster was looking for, standing at 6'7", weighing 315 pounds, and looking like a Greek god whose body has become so efficient it no longer needs to create hair. So Simon Miller. But of all those names released, why are we focusing on him? Here's why. Mac's name was initially reported by the Wrestling Observer as one of Black Wednesday's released NXT names, but we now have confirmation from the man himself in one of the most badly timed firing stories so far. Like the released Mike and Maria Kanellis, who had only just welcomed their second child, and Kurt Hawkins, whose wife Liz has heartbreakingly revealed in a new blog post that she's 30 weeks pregnant and feels helpless about how her family will cope. Mac has revealed his own recent terrible sequence of events, somehow still with cute emojis in. Kind of undermines the message sometimes. Boy, do I have a crazy ass story to tell all of you. From the weld emoji, getting locked down, to getting ejected through my oncoming car emoji window, and then being released by the WWE. It's been a wild 21 days. For the record, I'm alive and well. Hashtag Mather motivation, hashtag the drop. Posting pictures of him recovering, which he doesn't look so bad. Oh my god, there's an actual hole in the back of his head! And a shot of his totaled car. All of us here at WrestleTalk wish Dorian a very speedy recovery. Speed was the wrong word to use there. And Mac wasn't the only wrestler to have since confirmed their release. While it was initially feared WWE would continue releasing more and more people from their jobs over the following days, it seems all of the cuts were actually made in one fell swoop on Wednesday. But with WWE not officially announcing many of the names, confirmation of those cut are only coming out now. One of these is longtime NXT wrestler and coach Kassius Ohno, considered one of the best all-round wrestlers in the world emoji, who was suddenly moved to the alumni page on Wednesday night. Dave Meltzer has since confirmed Ohno is indeed now gone from WWE. Seemingly referencing the reports, Ohno has changed his Twitter handle to simply read WWE alumni, while posting a black and white picture of his boots in the ring, teasing a more full-time retirement. The cuts are over for now, which means one entire promotion can breathe a sigh of relief. Thanks for your support on Patreon, Angry Arbel Zafari. Considering WWE has gone into major cost-cutting mode, with Vince McMahon shutting down his XFL relaunch, in addition to the mass talent releases, speculation put WWE's NXT UK project next on the chopping block. The United Kingdom expansion has failed to properly build an audience over the pre-existing independent scene, has seen low ticket sales for live events, and is probably the most pure example of WWE signing up talent just to stop other promotions from using them. A business practice that has massively backfired now they can no longer run live events. But thankfully, according to Tony Quant of The Mirror, WWE NXT UK will be making no cuts to its roster at this time. Also, the roster are getting paid in full and will not be furloughed as they are all self-employed. It's also possible, however, that Vince just doesn't know NXT UK exists. But at least it actually got a start. According to Wrestling Observer Radio, Triple H's next step in his global localization strategy, a name that's just one synergy away from being the most corporate phase ever uttered, is dead in the water, with the Steve Corino crisis putting a complete halt on WWE's plans to open up NXT Japan. WWE have been trying to get a foothold in the country for almost a year, most notably trying to buy Pro Wrestling Noah, but being turned down. As cynical as a company prioritizing profitability over the security of the very people that sacrifice their health for it is, the business world and its stock market are unfortunately incredibly callous and impressed by such activity. McMahon's cost-cutting strategy, announced just a week before WWE's Q1 earnings report on Thursday, has seen its stock go over $40 a share for the first time since the 10th of March. While this is still way down from its near $100 highs last April, it is up significantly during a time where every other business's worth is in freefall. In advance of Thursday's Q1 call, Ringside News and Fightful's Jeremy Lambert have pointed out WWE paid $5.52 million in dividends to its shareholders last Friday, just 2 days after the company's mass releases. WWE is expecting to save $703,000 a month thanks to cutting the 38 wrestlers and talent. That dividend could have paid for them all for another 8 months. Compare this to how other wrestling promotions have conducted themselves in these unprecedented times. Promotions with a fraction of the resources, like Ring of Honor, where the honor part is more than just a piece of conceptual branding. Mike Johnson of PW Insider is reporting that ROH have made sure all of their talent were paid for the promotion's Las Vegas shows they had to cancel because of Steve Corino, who ironically was a former Ring of Honor tag team champion. ROH also made sure all international talent that had flown in for the show were able to get back to their home countries so they wouldn't be stuck in the United States when travel bans started. Additionally, the company didn't just pay its wrestlers, but also the ring crew as if the shows had taken place. El Phantasmo confirmed this on Twitter. Shout out to Ring of Honor who paid my full wage, travel, and 4 nights in Vegas to do an angle for a show that didn't even happen. Dave Meltzer is also reporting that New Japan will be paying their talent, crew, and staff full contractual salary and benefits during this crisis. WWE, of course, took a different approach to Steve Corino, and 2 of those names released last week, Mike and Maria Kanellis, have given their first interview to us here at WrestleTalk. Take that, Talk is Jericho podcast! Telling WrestleTalk.com's Louis Danger that while he did ask for his release last year after re-signing, Maria did not. And Bennett and WWE had worked things out since.
So, I guess in the sense that in my head, it was always like, all right, well, if there's going to be releases, it's probably going to be me and probably going to be my wife, just because of my wife's been out on maternity leave. They weren't doing anything with me. I had already asked for my release in the past, though we did work things out after that. But it's like, I didn't want it to happen during a pandemic. And I think that's a hard thing for me to try to explain to people, not to go off topic, but there's a lot of people that are always like, well, he did ask for his release, which I did. And my wife never did. So I want to clear the air there. My wife was happy to stay there. But I did. But it's like you think in the back of your head, yes, I did ask for my release, but nobody wants to be released during a pandemic. Like,
yeah, you asked for your release when you could appear in another promotion.
You asked for your release when you think you can go and do other things. And like, I asked for my release just because I wasn't working and I wanted to work. And I've said this in the past. I liked working at WWE. I liked the people there. It was my dream. I never wanted to leave, but I also I just had this sense that I needed to work and be productive, because if you're not working, that means they're not using you. So that means eventually they're probably going to let you go because you're just dead weight. So I think people need to understand you fight for these things because you want to be there. You don't fight for these things because you're just like, well, I don't want a job anymore. Screw this. No, you fight. You do these, you negotiate, and you try to put yourself in the best light you can to be like, no, look how valuable I am. I am valuable. You do need me. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it blows up in your face, and you just kind of move. But like, I think to a sense, when the pandemic started and then the economy started to crap the bed, I was like, there's no live events running right now. There's no WrestleMania. This is not going to be good. And you just kind of know it, and you just hope. but in the back of your head, you start to prepare.
You can watch the full interview by clicking the link in the video description below, where Louis talks to Mike for over an hour about working with Vince McMahon, plans for the future, and overcoming his battle with addiction. But it's not just wrestlers' futures that are in doubt at WWE. The company's biggest annual show might be in jeopardy for next year too. It was reported last week that construction work on the SoFi Stadium in California, the scheduled home of WrestleMania 37, might not actually be finished in time for its March 28th date next year. Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti has admitted the city might not authorize large gatherings and events until late 2021. And the very reliable WrestleVotes have now tweeted, "It's far too early to speculate on specific details. However, WWE has begun researching a plan B on an alternative site to host WrestleMania 37 if the state of California is not allowing large gatherings and/or SoFi Stadium is not finished on time." What do you think WWE should do if they can't put WrestleMania 37 on next year? Let me know in the comments, because I'll be replying to people from out of quarantine. We're all stuck inside at the moment, so what 10 amazing WWE feuds should you binge watch next? Click the video on the right for Adam Blompier's latest list. And what next for every wrestler released by WWE last Wednesday? Click the video below for Luke and Laurie's WrestleTalk podcast discussing just that. And keep checking WrestleTalk.com for all the latest breaking wrestling news. My voice is gone, but I've been Ollie Davis, and that was wrestling.